as I have mentioned in other of my videos, with the network flows, you get a lot of useful information like source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, amount of data going in and out, application, etc. But with QNI, you get the capability of inspecting the entire content of the payload. But what if that traffic is encrypted? Well, there are multiple companies like F5, Gigamon, your firewall providers, your proxy providers, your cloud provider, Zscaler or Cloudflare, that do perform several techniques for doing SSL decryption. However, sometimes companies do not have that implemented, or there are pieces of the traffic that you decide not to decrypt because it breaks some things because of certificate pinning or some other reasons. Well, with QNI, even when the traffic is encrypted, like I'm showing in here, you can get a lot of value from it. Let me show example number 1. Here I'm making a simple filter here which says, and the TLS SNI, or server name indicator, is not an A. And we find that even though this traffic was encrypted and QRadar could not see the payload, it can still get the actual place where the user went. You may say, well, but I got DNS logs. Yeah, but the bad guys, when they do this type of attacks, they are not going to use your DNS resolver. They're going to bypass that and use one of their own. And that's what you cannot count on, just DNS logs for catching that up. Let me look at another example here. This seems to be a Russian, yeah, and you see so multiple examples. Let's go down here and see this one, in which I replay a whole bunch of PCAF with encrypted data, and here we see all sort of both hashes and a whole bunch of information on the certificate, but I should see the TLS server name indicator in here. Another examples are JA3 hashes. So if we put a filter here and do JA3 or JA3S, and let's look for something that is not an A and add that filter, and let's go back 30 days or so, we're going to find that this traffic was encrypted on port 443, and you may want to do some research and see, this is something that the guys from Salesforce created a while back. The JA3 and the JA3S hash are hashes of the session initiation between the client and the server that can allow you to identify unique piece of malware, or somebody going into a site or that is of an attack. And again, those are things that can be extracted from the traffic even when it is encrypted. Also, QNI does a whole bunch of things with the management of the certificate. If the certificate is self-signed or has a weak encryption key, or we can see here that if we look for in the use case manager for QNI rules, there are 24 that comes out of the box for it. Now, let's say that you want to create your own QNI rule for detecting some of those things. It is as easy as going into the traditional rules editor, and I'm going to add a new flow rule. And I'm going to look here for properties because we are looking for some specific properties. And yep, this will work. And any one of these flow properties. And for example, let's say that you're looking for JA3, right? So you go here and do JA3, and add that condition, and let's say that you have a reference set where you have JA3 hashes that you have collected from things that are malicious or bad, where you point to it here. and there you are. Same thing with any of the other things that are extracted. Like if you instead were looking for the SNI, so let's do TLS, all the things that are in TLS. You have all these values in here, right? Here is the, let's say that if you want to know whether anyone is going to a particular site, regardless of the DNS resolver they use, you can detect that from here. Another big one, and many of these happen and work even in spite of having encryption, is to look for the suspect content descriptor. So I have a filter here, say, and suspect content descriptors is not an A, meaning there's something in there. And notice the kind of things that can be detected. Again, some of these requires decryption, but some of them do not. So you get, SQL injection, certificate expired, self-signed certificate, all these type of attack exports issues. And you can click on any one of those. So if you can go into any one of those, and when you see the actual details of it, you can click and go into the X-Force and see, explain to me what is this is all about, right? And you get the actual explanation in there. Let's look at the second page of things detected. So notice that, PDF embedded program file. I think these things are very interesting because this shows you the capability of QNI of understanding protocols and finding that, well, there is a in a PDF I have an executable. Is that something that is bad? No, but it's suspect. I mean, you want to allow that to happen. You want to be able to make that determination. You need to be able that you can detect that. So suspicious zip file. Notice, and these are just some of the things that I got to trigger with the attacks that I run. So lots of value in there. But I want to remind you that not even when people do not do man in the middle or any kind of the inline or any kind of the SSL decryption processes, still there are many things that do not go still encrypted, like mail. This is an example in which we can see that this offense fire, we can see the entire, again, this is without even getting logs from your mail server, which you can. But this is just looking at the actual traffic in there, and we can see that this is a particular email, and all these components had been extracted. Sorry, I should have reverted to the list. All these fields are extracted in here for you and your rules to work on it. Here you have the sender, the receiver, the hashes of the attachments in the piece of email. All those goodies can be done with QNI, even when there's no SSL decryption. Something that you may want to evaluate. Again, I mentioned some of the vendors that can show you the techniques that they have for doing that. But even when you don't have it, still QNI can give you a lot of value.